Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Frozen Fortunes, the analysis days. And if you're wondering why my voice always sounds a little bit louder on these videos to the normal ones, it's because of the fact that, of course, I have to, I can sit with the microphone much closer to my face because it doesn't get in the way of the camera then. It creates a much more smooth and buttery sound. That's the idea anyway. Plus, I don't need to get excited during these videos, and as a result, I'm not going to send the levels going all over the fucking shop. Anyway, I decided that we're going to start with squad reports because people wanted to see them. So all we're going to do basically at the start of these videos from now on, we're going to go through each player basically, just so you guys can have a look at the attributes, where they've improved, if there's anything noteworthy about their performances for the season. That way, you know, I'm going to miss stuff, and it'd be great if you guys could, if you see something, point it out to me in the comments. It's always good to have these discussions. I feel like you're my backroom staff, frankly, during these, and that's something I might look at as well for FM19, is actually making some of you guys, particularly guys over on the Patreon, actual backroom members of staff in the save, because I think that stadium name trick I did works with staff members too, so that'd be kind of fun to do. Anyway, I digress. This is Mariusz Jankowski. He's obviously improved this year, which is nice. Few little areas improving, particularly the mental stats, but his crossing, heading, long shots, areas where he needs improvement have improved. Solid season overall for him. Superliga, doing well. In the Cup, obviously fantastic. 2 goals and 2 assists, and 1 assist in the Champions League. I could do with a little bit more from an attacking playmaker, frankly, but I guess that's just not really his responsibility in the role. Here is Wojciech Jaroszyński, his sort of understudy, who's sort of started to stagnate a little bit. He's made 13 appearances this year, 6 off the bench, 4 assists in the league, though. Like, that's what I would say about Jaroszyński. He's got more assists in way less game time. You know, 4 assists is a it's a large amount, frankly. In 10 league starts, I'd still want to see a bit more out of him. His anticipation's grown slightly, his determination is going up as well. The balanced personality maybe not making him work quite so hard. He does seem to be stuttering in his development a little bit, and I do wonder if he's the kind of player that we could maybe cash in on, particularly as teams like Manchester City and Arsenal have both put bids in for this guy in the past. Jose Angel, the brand new guy, his aerial reach is massively improving at the moment, as is his jumping reach. I suppose for a goalkeeper, he is only 6 foot tall, so it's an area he kind of does need to look at. In the Superliga, 13 games, 7 clean sheets in that time, 8 goals conceded. It's pretty damn good. A 7.05. Pretty damn happy with that. Nothing's declining from him, which is good. He's got that high potential. He's still only 20. Lots more to come from him. Ivan Jovanic, of course, is out on loan at Fiorentina. We're not going to worry about loan players for now, because otherwise we'll be here all bloody day. Mehdi Kuja, our main man, you can see that his potential ability has kind of stagnated now, and he might be the kind of player that I may well look at moving on as well to make room for a striker who's already at that kind of level, but with the 5-star potential that he's got. Kuja this season has not been the player of last year towards the second. I mean, he's still been decent, don't get me wrong. 13 league starts, 8 goals, 5 assists. Still very, very good. But only 10 goals and 6 assists in 20 appearances this season. It's not amazing. And he's clearly not going to get any better, and you can see that he's not developing anymore. And if he's worth 3.4 million, I reckon we could get at least 5 or 6 mil for this guy in the summer. So if someone does come in with a bid, I might be tempted to move him on as well to try and freshen things up and let the new blood come through. Zdenek Krejci, of course, our main man in the middle. Still an absolute bargain of a signing for my money. He's not had as much game time as I would have liked this year, but he's still got 3 goals, 4 assists, not too bad. Mostly playing in the league, but he did get an assist in the Champions League. Lots of improvements to corners, crossing and dribbling, sort of areas where he's lacking a little bit. But his strength is improving, his pace, acceleration. Nothing is improving massively, but he's still improving quite nicely. And he's worth more money in his value than we actually paid for him. And he's still only 18 years old, has 11 caps for the Czech Republic already. What a lad. Juan Lopez, he's a young goalkeeper. He's probably not going to be here for much longer. He's listed for loan, but he hasn't actually taken a loan up yet. Ashley Marinus, not had a lot of game time this year. 9 starts and 5... He's still got 5 assists this season. But again, he's another one of those players that his contract ends next summer. He's wanted by people. Who's he wanted by? Nice, Toulouse. He is a player that I'm definitely going to try to move on in the summer. It's annoying that we couldn't get the transfer over the line last summer for the £6 million sale of this guy, because I bet your boots we wouldn't get more than about 2 million for him in this summer. But I think it's a deal that definitely does need to happen. I'm going to look for another left wing back though, because if Rogers Jr. leaves as well, we're going to be a bit short there, so we're going to need to get some backup into the team. Matthias Olsen, what can I say about this guy? He is wanted by some big sides, if I remember. So, sort of mid-level Premier League sides and some decent sides as well. 2 caps for Denmark. He's improving. He's 3 stars at the moment. He's only a backup as well to Andre Cunha, but he's still made enough games. 20 starts and 18 appearances off the bench. Not bad. 4 goals and 9 assists for him in those appearances is very, very good. I'm a fan of that. I actually quite like doing the analysis a little bit more like this than I do with the comparisons, because I think we can get a little bit more of a closer look at the players when we look at them like this. And rather than comparing them to each other, I might actually... We'll see how we go and how much time this takes, but I wouldn't mind looking at the players in more detail on this menu rather than doing the comparisons, because that doesn't always give you a fair reflection of how they're playing. You can tell pretty obviously how well they're playing. Obviously, this gives us less metrics. I don't think we can actually... We can look at this sort of stuff, though, if we really do need to take a look at that sort of thing. Like his cross completion. I wonder if we can get access to that on here. And we actually can't, which is... Oh, yes, we can. So... annoyingly, it doesn't give it as a percentage, which is a bit of a pain in the bottom, but never mind. Oh, okay. We want to go to Matthias Olsen. I'm very, very pleased with this guy. He's got a long way to go still, but this guy is fast. He's got good crossing. There's a lot more to come from this guy, and I don't think we've seen the last of him yet. So, Marian Pashinda, who is, of course, out on loan at Brøndby. This actually does give us an idea of what players are kind of doing. 2 goals, 3 assists in the league this season. It's not great from a player that... Actually, it depends on where he's been playing for Brøndby. Can we actually see that? There's usually a button you can look at. Information? I think it's on information, isn't it? No? Attributes? I don't know. There used to be like a... Oh, is it on reports, maybe? Comparison? I really don't know. There used to be a menu you could get to that would show them, like, where he's been playing when he's played games. But maybe that's not available because he's... not with the club? I don't know. There used to be something like that. I don't know if it's still in the game or not. It might not be for all I know. Yeah, it used to sort of show you where they've been played. Anyway, Pacinda not really that important right now. Rally this season, 11 starts. We got to kind of ignore that though. So what we're really looking at here is this. Like he scored 13 goals in 5 games in the reserves. So he's clearly got something about him. But in the league, he's only started 4 times. He's got 5 goals and 4 assists. That's actually very, very good. He's wanted by some decent sides, if I recall, to Chelsea and PSG. I mean, Feyenoord offered us 7 million for this guy last summer, and I think there's a lot more to come. And he's the kind of player that I think should be put in the team instead of Mehdi Kuja, because he's got the height. There's a lot about this guy that I like. He's not exactly slow either, frankly. He really does look like a bit of a beast. And I think moving on Mehdi Kuja and pushing Rally up the pecking order as a sort of standard starter in the league team could definitely be worth doing, and maybe even think about moving him over into the main one, although he and Yakim definitely fighting it out there. Nuno Santos. Now, he does want to leave, and I assume he's wanted by Marseille. Yeah, so that could be something that happens in the summer. If he does, I hope we can get a massive amount of money for him, which could help us find a replacement, because centre-backs are so hard to come by, and we've got a decent set with Simovic, Vasic, Santos, Angel, Barbello, even Saifi, who's still plugging away at the club, one of our longest-serving players now. He wants to join Marseille, and I think it's probably going to happen, unfortunately. I don't think there's a lot I'm going to do about it, but he's got so many good things. It's very annoying, but what can you do? Aldo Saifi, my main man. He's a 25-year-old. He's played 147 league games for us, but it's not even that amazes me. It's the length of time that he's been at the club now. He's in his 7th season? Coming up to start his 8th year with the club, and he's played league games in every single season for us. In fact, this year, he's had his best ever season in terms of average rating. Less goals, only with 2 this year, but they're mostly penalties and whatnot. But he's had his best year for the club. In fact, he's actually been mostly developing quite nicely. He just seems to be one of these players that's incredibly reliable. Resolute personality. He's not great in the air, fair play, but he just does a brilliant job for us. And there's a reason why this guy is the captain of the club. And I think I see no reason why he won't continue to stay with the club. He's the perfect player for that league team, just to marshal the troops, be a good leader off the pitch as well. What a hero this guy actually genuinely has been in this save as well, while we're taking a look at it. Dragan Simovic. Still the club's record signing, signed for £8 million, has had a decent season. He's been all right. He is still improving, though, which should be scaring a lot of people. First touches, free kicks are improving. Lots of mental stats improving. His agility is improving. Decent player, frankly. 17 caps for Serbia. What a lad. Got a nice long 4-year contract. I think he just signed a new one over the past couple of months as well. So very, very nice. I hope he will stay for us for a long time. No wants, which is nice. Peter Sugod. Now, you can sort of see that he's reaching a sort of talent ceiling as well, but he's still a very, very good player. And if he reaches that talent ceiling with the team we've got, I still think he could be a very, very good player in the division that we're playing. I don't know where... See, he's well suited to the Superliga at the moment. He's not quite star player potential, but I think he will get to that point of being a star player in this league. He's worth a lot of money, and, you know, just to have a player that's got 2 caps for Denmark come through our academy again... It's great. 70 appearances he's got for us at the age of 20. What a lad. Liviu Stan. Now, this is a guy who kind of... went a bit under the radar this year, and he hasn't really improved a great deal either. If you actually look at his sort of stats-wise, no caps for Argentina for Romania yet. He is wanted by Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig, though. Leipzig have been particularly vociferous with their bids for him in the transfer windows. He's never wanted to leave, though, so that's been quite nice. I haven't even had to talk to him about that. 15 games for us in the league, 2 goals, 1 assist, pass completion of 87%, though. Definitely does keep things ticking over, which is surprising because he's only got 9 passing, and he's not really playing in a role that he's particularly familiar with. Most of the time when I play him in the box-to-box role, so he does leave a little bit to be desired there, but he's got that resolute personality. I like this guy. I think he'll definitely do well. Here we go, Jonas Svenningsson. I think that means there's still more to come from him, frankly. He is still improving. His free kicks going up, long shots, penalty taking. His balance is 19 now. Stamina improving, which is nice to see. This guy is just a beast. 159 league appearances for us and 93 goals in the league. If he scores 7 in the league next year, he'll cross the 100 mark. And I think Bravo is probably well above that. But this year, so far, he's got 38 goals. Not quite the amount that Ersan got, but 11 goals in the Champions League, 18 goals and 18 starts in the league, 9 goals in the Cup as well. What a season. 19 assists as well. For a player that doesn't have that great crossing, he is truly a phenomenon. 19 caps for Denmark at the age of 21, 7 goals. He's probably never going to overtake Jesper Grønkjær for the most capped player to ever be born in Greenland. Then again, what I might do when the save is finished is do the old 20 years into the future and just sort of see how well this goes. That will take bloody ages, though, because we're already so far into the damn save. Okay, moving on. Momcilo Vasic. The new boy. I think he's had a great start to the season, frankly. In the Superliga, 2 goals and 13 appearances. He just wins a lot. 17 heading, 6'2". He's still improving. 7 caps for Serbia. I think we didn't even pay what he's currently worth when we bought him in January. This guy has still got a long, long way to go and is one of the best centre-backs at the club, and he's a star player in this division, and long may it continue, let's face it. What else we got here? Mustafa Abdel Sattar. Okay. Now, that might be because he's a bit tired having just played in the last game, so we can't read super loads into that, potentially. He's only 21 years old. Still got room to improve as well. His bravery and his concentration going up there nicely. So this year, in the league, wow, I mean, look at this. 15 assists. 10 assists in 17 games in the league. You really can't say fairer than that. 25 appearances in all competitions. He's never come off the bench. He's got 15 assists. Never scored for us, but 15 assists in 25 games is absolutely outstanding. And when we compare that to Rogers Jr., it's not even going to be in the same postcode. Sattar genuinely has gone massively under the radar this year as an incredible signing. He is on lots of money, though. That's what I would say. 19 grand a week is a lot for us, particularly for a player that's he's good, but he's not the best player at the club. Let's face it. Sani Akinola. So this is what I mean. He's kind of reached a cap. He's still improving in a few areas. Free kick taking's improving, long shots there, penalty taking, composure, a few little bits and bobs. But this year, 32 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. 8 goals is decent, but I certainly feel like he's probably fallen down a little bit compared to last year. So last year, he played 5 less games and scored 3 more goals, got more assists, was just better. This is actually his worst season in the league for us, even when he's played more games. So, yeah, he definitely does seem to be sliding a little bit. I mean, it's undeniable, frankly, when you actually look at the overall. So this year, overall, 32 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. Last year, 33 games, 10 goals, 11 assists. Like, he is clearly starting to drop off a little bit. And I do wonder if Victor Christensen might be the man to flip into that spot, I know this bit's going to go on for quite a long time, but some people said this is what they kind of wanted to see. And I just want to kind of experiment with this and try some stuff out, basically. Maybe for this episode, if it does go on for a very long time, I might skip the comparison analysis for this one, and then we'll see what we kind of think, and we'll try it out again. We'll still go and do the team stats, of course, just see how long this goes on for. Emmanuel Amoa, who's white now, apparently, a white Ghanaian. I think next year, the likelihood of him being here is very unlikely, because with Jose Angel, he'll move into the B team, the league team, as it were, and then the new boy, Harmat, will work as the first team goalkeeper, and I just don't think there's a place for Emmanuel Amoa in this team anymore. But that's fine, because we could probably get 3 or 4 million for this guy who's been at the club for 4 years and he signed on a free transfer, and he has probably had his worst season in that period, frankly. Least amount of clean sheets. Well, not the least. He actually didn't have that many. Only considered 8 goals, to be fair to him. But then I suppose when they're actually facing shots, it's going to boost their rating a little bit in ways. Marius Angel, he's a player that's sort of dropped down the pecking order a little bit. He's still got good stats. It's just, you can see, like 13 games in the league, he's been fine. He got 1 No, 22 games in all competitions for us. No goals, no assists. Obviously, he's a central defender, so that's not that important. But when you just look, it's a big step down from his previous season for the club. In all competitions last year, he got 1 goal, 1 assist. I wish you could see things. I wish it would show you statistics that are relevant to their position. This is kind of why we do need the comparison bit. So we'll come back to that perhaps. Aldo Barbello. I am a fan of this guy. I think he's done really well since he's come in. 18 games. 2 off the bench, 2 goals, 1 assist. He passes quite nicely too. He wins 79% of his tackles. Actually, that's something we definitely could look at with the other guys. I think he's done really well for us, frankly. Obviously, nothing to compare it to. He's already wanted by Lazio, Napoli, and Real Sociedad. But I don't see any reason why we'd try and get rid of him. He's 6'5" as well. He's an absolute monster in the air, which is going to be very helpful. Mariano Bravo. You can see now he's sort of reached a kind of peak on that, but he's still improving in other areas. And he's played 185 league games for us, which I believe does make him our highest ever appearance maker. And he's got 134 league goals, which is astonishing. This season, 27 starts, 8 off the bench, 27 goals, 13 assists. In the league, 17 goals and 18 starts. Only 2 goals in the Champions League. He definitely did seem to drop off against higher quality opposition. That is very, very clear now. When you look at his performances in the UEFA Super Cup and the Champions League, they were sub-7, which is very, very bad for us. Whereas in the league, he's definitely putting in a good shift. And I do wonder if perhaps next season, maybe even the starting lineup could be Svenningsson and Rally instead of Bravo. Just let Bravo concentrate on the league, where he really is just mopping things up, and give us a good chance there, because I do wonder if his time might have come. It's really hard to say with players like Bravo, because he's such a good player, and he's been with the club for such a long time. I mean, he'll be into his 8th season with us very soon as well. Obviously, that was in the lower divisions, so we don't really count that. His best years for the club were these 3 seasons here, but that was before we were playing in Europe on the regular basis, really. So he's definitely had a better season this year than he did last year. More goals, more assists, more player of the match awards. So he's had a bit of an Indian summer in a way. Just when I was starting to think about moving him on, he's come back and in greater numbers. So, okay, Mariano Bravo, I'm on the fence about. Rogers Jr., he probably will leave in the summer. And when you look at this, 20 appearances this year, he still has 11 assists. But admittedly, it's not quite to the same length. It's still pretty bloody good, to be honest with you. Rogers Jr. really does do a good job for us, but I just don't think there's room at the club for him anymore. 165 league appearances. He never scored a league goal. I swear I remember him scoring a goal at one point or another. I feel like he definitely has scored a goal for us in some kind of competition at some point. Surely not. Bloody hell, he really has never scored a single goal in any competition for us. That's so weird. I feel like he has at some point, but there you go. Yeah, he's definitely not had the best season this year compared to his previous ones. Like 30, this last year was actually his best ever season for the club in terms of his actual average rating, although his assists left a little bit to be desired, but he played less games. This year, more games, and more assists too, but I think he's missing in other areas to his game now. It's starting to look like anyway. Cerezo, who's on loan at Esbjerg, so not really that worth talking about. Andre Cunha, my man, probably wanted by Milan. And Arsenal, of course. This guy he's still only got 1 cap for Portugal, but there's so much more to come from this guy. He's improving. Doesn't even have the greatest of crossing. Look at this, though. 30 appearances, 17 assists this season, and 3 goals from Andre Cunha. He has been phenomenal, and he's been very, very good even in the Champions League. At an average of 7.36, the guy can clearly cut it. 7 Champions League games, and he's played as well as that. It's undeniable. And he's done well in the league as well. 3 goals, 11 assists in the league. Phenomenal. 4 assists in 1 game in the cup as well. I assume that was in that 15-0 drubbing of some bunch of farmers. But still, Andre Cunha, great. He's got a long contract. Great. All lovely as well. Wagner has been out on loan for quite a while now. He's done all right in the... well, no, as you can see, he's not really. Did okay for Bruno Pocana, but he just doesn't seem to have the goal-scoring ability anymore. It's weird, because I was so hyped about this guy when he first joined the club, and he just has not lived up to expectations, really. Halil Ibrahim Sari is another player that's let me down a little bit out on loan at Lyngby. Doesn't matter, because he's costing them a lot more money than he's costing us. 7 goals and 3 assists for him in the league this year. Not amazing, but he's still very young and could still do a job, I'm sure, if he comes back in. Maybe we can loan him out and get a load more money. Again, Mark Yakim. Still hasn't reached his peak yet, but this is a guy who's done very, very well this year. In the league, 17 appearances, 19 goals. I mean, look at that. 21 starts, 10 off the bench, and he scored 25 goals this year. Mark Yakim is a very strange player. He's one that really never had any right to be as good as he is, and yet there he is. I'm actually amazed he doesn't have a USA call-up yet. He, I believe, has been in the squad, but he's never actually made a first-team appearance for them. 53 goals in the league and 87 appearances for us is very, very good. He is wanted, of course, as he is every single time, and I have given him an extension. He's wanted by Saint Etienne. I don't know. I think Yakim could still do a job for us in the league next season, unless someone amazing comes in. And I see no reason why he'd have to leave. We're back to Mariusz Jankowski. So that about wraps it up. That's taken us goddamn 20 minutes. So let's get into the team stats now. While we're at it, I'll take a little drink as we move ourselves over. How are we going to get there the quickest way? Right. Okay, average possession, still number 2. We do want to be top of this at some point, but Copenhagen seem to play quite a possession style of tactic, as is evidenced by the fact that they get 60% possession against us. Penalties taken. Oh my god, AGF had 11 penalties this season. Who was fouling them? Christ. Then again, we had 8, which isn't bad either. Rwanda's won the most headers, but we're up there too. I don't know what that is as compared to last season, but that's what I like to see. Headers won ratio, 65%. I think having slightly taller players on the team has really helped with that, and having better centre-backs too. Yellow cards, we're down towards the bottom with only 37. We're a clean team of clean boys. No red cards this year. Only us and Copenhagen can say that. Aalborg were a dirty bunch, evidenced by the 6 red cards they've had, which is quite a lot. Form does not matter one iota. Right, goals! 98 goals scored by B67 this year. The nearest was AGF with 62, so we scored 26 more goals than the nearest side. And I've just noticed FC Copenhagen have the lowest amount of goals scored. That is so strange. They only scored 44 times this year. Christ on a bike. No wonder they came so low down the league. They couldn't find the net to save their life. That's insane. Cross completion, we're actually top this time with 16%. I might be imagining things, but I don't recall us being top on that one before. Crosses completed 312. My God. I think that's the first time we've broken the 300 mark on that one. Goals from corners. Wow, we're actually top of this one with 8 goals from corners. Team goals from direct free kicks. Wow. Nobody scored more than 1 direct free kick this season. What a huge shock. Goals from indirect free kicks. Doing all right on that one too. Pass completion ratio, best in the league with 80%. That's more like it. The guys are getting in there. But passes completed, still way off the mark of FC Copenhagen. They are a pass-heavy team that are a bit shot-shy, it would seem. I wonder how many shots, actually. You'll see how they do on that. Chances created, 186. FC Copenhagen are right down there. This new manager of theirs is an absolute melon. I don't know what they've been doing. No wonder they came so low. They don't score goals, and they don't create chances. So it's not like they're even just missing chances. They're just not creating them. Shots on target. Look at that. 37%. We're not at the top of that one at the moment, but FC Copenhagen have the worst shots on target. Right, let's see about this one. They should... I see 169. We've nearly hit the 300 mark of shots on target too, but they're still very, very low. When you look at the other teams around here, like for the most part anyway, these are all teams that struggle towards the bottom. Esbjerg, Nordsjælland, Vejle, Sønderjysk, Odense. These are teams that are struggling at the bottom end of the league, and yet here are FC Copenhagen. I assume they've been saved purely by their defensive situation. Fouls against. They do get fouled quite a lot, but I guess it's because they keep the ball so damn much. Dribbles per game, Midtjylland will always be top of that because of Patmore and Simon Poulsen. Those two are crazy. So Copenhagen like to dribble with it too, it would seem. Conceded, 24. See, this is the thing. They've not even scored that many more goals than they've conceded. 35 isn't a great defense. I mean, it's the second best, but I think we've had the best one ever, actually, with the 24, or at least equaled it, so that's not too bad. Goals from corners, 3. It's not too bad from us, really. They've only conceded 2. It's not awful. Did we concede any direct free kicks? We didn't. That's nice to see. So only 3 so far. Indirect free kicks, 3. So that's 6. And we'll look at penalties as well in a minute. Team clean sheets, amazingly, FC Copenhagen tie with us on that, which is actually really strange considering we kept like 10 less goals out than them. But hey, there you go. I do want to win that at some point though. Aalborg, of course, top of that because they're a dirty, dirty bunch. They do win a lot of tackles, but it would seem that they also lose a lot of tackles in the process. Tackles won ratio, Sønderjysk up there as well. FC Copenhagen pretty low down on that one too. Penalties conceded, 3 for us. So that's 9 goals conceded from set pieces this year. So definitely room to improve. Average attendances this year. Average attendance was 6,300. It kind of tapered off after Christmas, which was kind of weird. Before Christmas, we were getting average attendances of in the mid 6,500s. But now we've had some dip under 5 after Christmas. So that's a little bit strange. Hopefully next year, with increases to rep and all that sort of stuff, we can hopefully get it a little bit higher up still. Attendance by capacity, of course, will always be... Actually, I suppose it's because they've got bigger stadiums than us. Stadium sellouts. Did we have any? No, of course not. Highest attendance. Our highest attendance was 9,500. I think that was for a fan day, which the board seem to do every year, which does well. Lowest attendance for us, though, was 4,000. Yeah. Still a lot better than Lyngby, though. Has to be said. Net transfer spend. Okay. We spent £4.5 million this year. Copenhagen spent a decent chunk of change as well, whereas Midtjylland made a lot of money. Not only did Midtjylland make £4 million in the transfer market, but they then converted that into coming second in the league. There's some very smart people over at Midtjylland. I know that one of Matthew Benham is still doing the Moneyball thing over there. Salary per annum, how close are we? We're not far off of FC Copenhagen, though it does appear that theirs has dropped quite considerably over the past couple of years. I swear at one point they were spending over 20 million a year on salaries, and we very, very nearly caught them up as well. Lots of insecure teams down towards the bottom here. Wow, Vela only spending that's actually quite impressive. Vela did a really good season despite only spending 1.8 million on that. Right, let's take a look at the player stats because that's what we're really interested in. So, appearances, not relevant. Games won, not super relevant either. Yellow cards, anyone on there at all? I think we might have one actually. Marinus? No, Satar. Okay, Satar's got 6 yellow cards. And then again, if he played more, he probably would have got more yellow cards, you'd feel. We didn't have any red cards, so that's irrelevant. Player of the Match awards, though. We should have some players on this one. Come on, there we go. Catch up. Wow, loads, actually. Svenningsson, Jakim, and Bravo all got 5 each. Kudny got 3. That's not bad for a fullback. Who was the best? So you got Jensen, of course, the Icelandic guy, and Patson Daka, Abdullawi. All these players that have been right up towards the top and smashing goals in, basically. Distance covered. I mean, look at this. This is what I wanted to see. Distance cover per 90 minutes. Olsen and Cunha. 15... Olsen and Cunha, both of them, covered on average more than a kilometre more than any other player in this division. That is ridiculous. The right-hand side, they get through some work. I don't know why Abdul Sattar isn't on here at all. Obviously, the left-hand side, because of the way the other roles are, doesn't get through quite so much. But these two are athletes of the highest order. That is truly ridiculous. Average rating, Cunha is the highest. Jakim in behind. Bravo's in there too. Olsen and even Jankowski's on the list. That's very cool to see. Headers 1. I'd like to see a few players on here, potentially. Some centre-backs, perhaps? No. I guess that's the number of headers 1 rather than the averages and stuff. Goals, I mean, he deserves it, really, doesn't he? We'll look at the minutes to goal. Here we go. Minutes to goal. Mark Jakim, 79 minutes per goal. So, in a way, that's the real quiz. And Mark Jakim is, in fact, the best player in the division. You heard it here first, folks. Mark Jakim is the man. 19 goals. That's pretty damn good. Bravo in there as well. Jakim and Jensen both had more than a goal per 90 minutes, which is just insane. Vlaslovsky as well was superb with 23 goals for us for Vela in the top flight. This is a guy on loan from us who's playing for a worse team and he's managed to score 23 goals this season. He's Australian. I mean, you can't say fairer than that, really, can you? The guy has been truly spectacular. I still don't think he could do that well for us, potentially. But you can't argue with his success there. This guy needs an Australia call-up, my lord. Okay, anyone else a little bit further down? No, not quite. Shots, yeah. Wow, Pablo Miranda. What about this guy? See, this is the thing. He's still not amazing when you look at him compared to sort of the other players here. I don't think it'd be worth us shelling out money. Who's he wanted by? Bologna. See, that's the kind of thing. He's 23 years old as well. There's probably not that much room for him to improve. Looking at his actual career stats, like, has he ever been particularly prolific? He played for the B team. Okay, fine, but that's in the lower leagues of Portugal. I mean, who really cares about that? But that's not even in a named division. So, and again, there was Braga B in a lower tier. Nîmes, that's not too bad. Wasn't great when he was at Boa Vista, and he has been spectacular after signing Fernandes on a free transfer. 19 goals and 10 assists in the league is phenomenal, frankly. And what a piece of business they've done. If they sell him on for any money, they've done brilliantly there. Has to be said. Bravo is taking on a fair number of shots, of course, as is Sveni, as is Liviu Stan. Not what you would have expected to see. I reckon his shots per 90 minutes is fairly high, I would have thought. When you consider how many games he's actually played. That's a lot of shots he's been taking there, Sonny Jim. Shots on target. Someone up there, Bravo's usually quite decent for that one. And as he is again here, yes. 54 shots on target. Svenningsson in there too. Nobody else really bothering that one. Shots on target percentage. Bravo above 50%. That's what I like to see. All of our strikers above 50%. That is ace. Team goals. Olsen, 76 team goals he's been on the pitch for. Jensen did score 5 penalties as well. Dyche, Adam Dyche. Is he English? Let's have a little look. Yes, he is. He's on loan from Arsenal. My God. So I appreciate that drinking on the mic is can be a bit misophonic, but it has to be done with these long videos, unfortunately. Wow. That is one. Whoever agreed this deal to get Adam Dyche in on loan from Arsenal for the season is a genius. Look at that. 11 goals and 15 assists. That's spectacularly good. The guy's worth an absolute fortune, and he's been playing for Aalborg this year and has done a bloody good job on it, frankly. Svenningsson with the 12 assists. Cunha was right behind there with 11 too. Satar with 10. Bravo nowhere to be seen, of course. Where are we? Here we go. Right, so key passes. Dennis Ai. Cunha with 45. I think a Jankowski been there, but no. Chances created. Mariano Bravo with 26 chances created, followed by Andre Cunha. No surprises there. Pass completion. Zdeněk Krejci. When he's in the team, he keeps things ticking over like a traction engine. He is superb. 90% pass completion over his, how many games? 16 starts and 6 substitute appearances. It's 3% more than anyone else. Stan is decent. Amoa, Surgor keeps things going. Jankowski is fine. But compare Jankowski to Krejci. Krejci is just something else. I think next year he could really come into his own with that. Decent number of key passes to his name as well. 3 assists as well in a fairly short period of time. Cross completion. I'm not that bothered by that, really, because he's rarely ever in a position to actually put any crosses in. Bravo at 21 is nice. Satar at 21 is fantastic. That is actually exceptionally good. For a wing-back to get 21% cross completion over a full season is enormous, particularly as Cunha didn't do that, did he? Dribbles per game. Poulsen, Patmore. Where the frick is Jonas Svenningsson? What? Did he not play enough games? Oh, does it say how many games you're supposed to have... Minimum of 23 games played. Okay. So I don't think Jonas Svenningsson actually played enough league games to be counted on this. I want to see where he would have fitted in. Where he would have fitted in. Why is it Sven? Okay, for some reason it won't let me search for him. Jonas Svenningsson. There we go. Average dribbles 5. So he still gets an average of 5 dribbles per game, which will put him around about here. Vaslovsky's got some decent dribbliness too to his. Offside, that's not really that important. Team goals conceded. Yakim's not been on the pitch for... Wow, he actually did make a mistake leading to a goal, though. Naughty, naughty mark. Tackles per game. Cunha's up there on that as well. The guy is an absolute enigma. Mistakes leading to goals. Hopefully we don't have anyone on this one. No, that's what I like to see. Jesus Christ. Stefan Lerstrup made 4 mistakes leading to goals. Sack him off, lads. Mistakes overall. Wow. We normally have both wingbacks on this list. And we've got 3 wingbacks that have played decent minutes this year, and none of them are on here. Yusuf Traore making a lot of mistakes. Is he still on loan from... No, he's actually joining Aalborg in the summer. On a free transfer, I'm guessing. So... Well, we just gave Everton the willy, basically, didn't we? Key tackles. Massimiliano Rocco of Lingby. That's kind of interesting. None on there for us. Key headers. Svenningsson and Bravo. And no defenders. I guess we've not really made much of a chance there. Gaishka Valencia has the most interceptions. No one on there for us as well. Headers 1 ratio. Right, okay. Simovic, 86. That's decent. Safety, 84. But I would like to have seen minimum of 23 headers attempted. Like, I feel like they've attempted enough of them. So where are the other lads on that one? Shots blocked. None of them at all. Goalkeeping, right, conceded. Niang conceded 25 goals in 26 appearances. Is actually very good. Unfortunately, none of our goalkeepers played enough games to be counted on this list, so we don't really know where they stack up. Clean sheets. We should have someone here. Yes. Amoa got 9 clean sheets this year. Lauditson got 15. Angel got 7 clean sheets. Did concede more on average per 90 minutes. But look at this. Miranda conceded more goals, and he would have been playing with a better team in front of him too. So maybe we dodged a bullet there by shipping him off. Not that I did that deliberately or anything, of course. Right, so that kind of just, yeah, the save thing isn't really that all important. So it's only 30 minutes in. Let's just make this a bumper episode. How about that, guys? I know that the guys that the people that watch this video probably don't care about the length, and if it goes on longer, it's probably, I don't know, more content for you, I suppose. That's the way I look at it with some of the YouTubers I watch. Sometimes there's a YouTuber I watch that puts out like an hour and a half videos like twice a week on a topic, and I will watch them. It's like a soap opera to me. And if you're interested in that, it's Many a True Nerd and his Crusader Kings 2 series. Anyway, moving on. Let's get back to the team stats, to the squad. And take a little. We'll be a little bit more brief with this than we normally are, because of course we've already kind of gone through them in great detail in just by looking at the players themselves. So let's start with the keepers, of course. Move all of this stuff off. Keepers on all sides. So Amoa team. I mean, just looking at this right now, Amoa has actually been a better goalkeeper in that period. Particularly as he'd have had worse players in front of him. We've gained more points with him in the team. In fact, holy shit. Is this correct? We've won every single match that Manuel Amoa has been in goal for this season. An average of 3 points a game over 15 matches. Every single game. Angel's pass completion is slightly better, though. I've got the attacker analysis. Can we not do that, Matt? You absolute melt. Right. I was like, why are we comparing these things? Right. We want goalkeeper analysis. Okay. Team conceded team goals per 90 minutes. So we score more goals with Amora in the team, concede less, and win way more points. 100% win rate and 9 clean sheets in that period as well. All well and good, but I do still feel like his talent ceiling is already pretty much there. And I think Angel might have a worse season, but he's not that much worse. And I think that he'll improve. Plus, we've got the new guy coming in too. So I think that's definitely worth looking at as an option next year. I still think Angel for the B team and the new lad Harmat for the first team. So that's enough about goalkeepers. Let's go to defenders, and we'll go... No, we want defensive midfielders, don't we? Because of the wingbacks. So, minutes played. Have I? Oh, we're on goalkeeper analysis. For crying out loud, Matt. Remember to switch this stuff over. Wingback analysis. There we go. A bit more stats. Right. So, minutes played. Who's really relevant here? Marinus and Rogers Jr. will kind of ignore. I'm more interested in the 3 that I know are going to be here next year. We win more points with Matthias Olsson in the team, but he's mostly played in the league. Then again, so's Cunha. And I know people are saying that you can't really compare apples to oranges, and a lot of the performances of some of the better players will have come in the Champions League. And that's fair enough, but we don't have those metrics at hand, and there's no way of getting hold of them. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a pain at the bottom. Team conceded per 90 minutes. We concede less, but relatively, it's not a huge margin, frankly. Tackles 1 ratio. Satar wins a lot of tackles, so does Cunha, so does Olsson. Pretty much about as good as you can get. Not only that, but they also have the 3 best pass completions too. Olsson really high. Rogers Jr. and Marinus massively dropping off. Key passes. Marinus does play a lot of key passes, and Satar doesn't so much, but he does get a lot of assists. Cunha and Olsson definitely get more key passes because they play on the right. Then again, Marinus does play on the left, and he does seem to create those key passes. Interceptions. Cunha seems to be great at intercepting. Olsson not too bad either. Satar in there too. Headers 1. Obviously Rogers Jr. does well, but Satar with 77 and Cunha with 73 are not far behind. Olsson not quite so great in the air, but he's not so far off of this that it's going to be a massive problem for us, I wouldn't have thought. Dribbles per game? Andre Cunha is cut above the rest. Olsson in there too. Satar doesn't dribble very much. I assume that's because his dribbling stat is only 9. Nope, that's nothing to do with it at all. Andre Cunha has got worse dribbling, but he still manages to do it. Maybe it's just because it's the left-hand side. When you actually look, both the players here that are dribbling the most are on the right-hand side. All these guys would have played on the left. So maybe there's that. Cross completion. Satar, 21. Marinus, 16. Cunha and Olsson. So Satar clearly knows how to pick a cross out. He won't take his man on, but he doesn't need to. He gets in a position and he smacks that ball into the box and does an absolutely insane job with it once it gets there. It's undeniable. Chances created per 90 minutes. Cunha, very, very high. Satar, very, very high. Rogers Jr., very, very low compared to the others. Assists per 90 minutes. Cunha again. Satar in there too. Marinus, not too bad. Olsson, fairly low actually, considering the amount of game time he's had. He's the lowest in the team for assists, but he does seem to contribute a few goals to the team too. But when you look at the average ratings as well, he jumps right up because he's clearly doing better things from a defensive standpoint too. He seems to have more defensive nous. But he has also made the most mistakes of the bunch. So next year, what I'm thinking, Cunha, standard, definitely has a place in the team. Olsson as the backup. Satar is the standard one for the main team. And then I think I want to try and find someone new to be the B team guy. A youngster with high potential, basically. So I think Marinus and Rogers Jr. will probably move on at the end sometime in the summer. There's going to be quite a few players could be leaving this summer, which could give me some decent transfer funds to go out on a bit of a spending spree, to be perfectly honest. Right. Let's go to defenders, to the central defenders. We won't be doing it on wing-back analysis this time. I've learned my lessons. So Barbello, Vasic, this is basically the 3 sets of players. All of them have played over 1,000 minutes, so there's a lot to compare it to. Now, obviously, the B team guys would have been playing with slightly less quality opposition, but that does mean if we see one of them standing out, then they're doing even better in spite of that. And if we see one of the bigger guys performing poorly, then they've got less of an excuse. So I think this is still a fair test. Team conceded per 90 minutes. Angel, well, look at that, Barbello. Look at that Barbello. 0.38 goals conceded with him in the team. Vasic, very good for that. Safety, a safe pair of hands. And Simovic and Santos, you know, these guys are playing in... That's interesting, actually. Tackles 1 ratio. Barbello, again, 86% for Aldo Barbello. Angel's done well there too. Simovic, not too bad. Vasic does not win a lot of tackles, and neither does Santos. And that makes me wonder why, if that's why we've struggled a little bit. Not struggled a little bit, but it's just struggled perhaps to not concede so many goals, frankly, because Barbello wins a lot of tackles, and having both of those two in the team might be causing some problems from time to time. Points per game. Every single match that Aldo Barbello has played in, we have won. What about that? When is it drops off massively for the others as well. In fact, it's undeniable, really. The three guys that play in the B team, we win more points when those three are in the team, which is interesting. They've obviously got a more defined partnership. Their passing, though, is just generally worse. Simovic, 81%, Vasic, 80%. These guys are more ball playing. They're certainly more creative defenders. All of them can pass better. It's negligible, but someone like Simovic with 81% is vastly better than Barbello. So that sort of says it all, really. Mistakes as well. Like, Vasic does not make a lot of mistakes, neither does Barbello. They've both played a similar amount of games, but then you look at Angel, he's played around the same amount of minutes and has made a lot more mistakes. And the others have made more mistakes, but have played a decent amount more minutes. Not perhaps enough to do that. Angel's also made a mistake leading to goals. Key tackles, is that key passes per 90 minutes? Yeah, key passes per 90 minutes. Simovic, obviously with the good passing. Safety isn't too bad on that one. Santos, very, very low. Which is interesting because his passing is actually not that bad. Barbello isn't too bad considering he's got poor passing. Simovic clearly is the guy, though, for that kind of thing. He's the guy that you get the ball at his feet. That also might be, though, because he's often been deployed as a defensive midfielder in the frozen hug of death type of system. So that could be having an effect on the stats there. Got to be careful with that. Interceptions. Barbello, 6 interceptions per game on average as well. He's just getting in there and doing an absolutely wonderful job this year. I'm incredibly impressed with Aldo Barbello. Any player that we can have in the team that over the course of 13 matches, we've won every single match where he started the game. It tells me something. And what it's telling me is that, good Lord, maybe if Santos leaves, we could just promote Aldo Barbello straight into the first team because he's clearly got something about him. Whether he'd be able to, maybe with better quality opposition, maybe give us a bit more balance, actually. So losing someone like Santos, who is decent at passing, but his tackling isn't that great, and replacing him with someone like Barbello, who's an absolute pit bull for interceptions and tackles, but would just lay it off to someone like Simovic, who can really play a decent pass. We could maybe get a proper sort of backline there with each player having their own roles. Let's see what these guys are like in the air. So headers 1 ratio. Angel, superb in the air. Simovic and Barbello doing a good job there. Vasic, again, a little bit low, although he has scored a couple. Santos on the lower end of that as well, but Barbello is putting up some big boy numbers here, has to be said. And also headers 1 per 90. Over 10 headers a game, he's winning. That is brilliant, frankly, and he's not running as far, which suggests to me that he's sort of playing smarter. So next year, Simovic I still want to keep in there with Vasic, and I think maybe if Santos does move on, what I might do is promote Barbello straight into the first group and then bring in another youngster with high potential to play in the second set with Angel and Aldo Saifi, because Aldo Saifi could just, that man could, I don't know, he is just a leader on the pitch and does a bloody good job of it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with that sort of situation there, which is always nice to see. We've got midfielders now in the centre. We obviously don't want to judge them based on the centre-back analysis. I think we might be pushing an hour with this video, which is not ideal. So Surgor, Akinola, Stan, Yaroshinsky, Jankowski, and Krejci. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that's really played. Christensen has also played. Where is Christensen? Why is he not appearing? Oh, because he's an attacking midfielder? Yeah, okay, fair enough. Wait, what? What's happening now? So there's Victor Christensen. I'm going to just have to do it like this. It's a bit annoying because Christensen, we really should make one of these for attacking midfielders, but I just haven't got around to it in the past. So, we can kind of judge them on different things. Assists per 90 minutes, that's more of a job. I mean, then again, Christensen's done bloody well on that one. He's got a decent number of assists. Yaroshinsky's got the most assists and hasn't even played that many minutes, frankly. He's got a lot more than Jankowski has in that time. Just look at the average ratings as well. Yaroshinsky is the highest of all the players in this team. When he plays well. Christensen's one of the lowest, to be fair, and Krejci is even lower. Then he's sometimes been played out of position in games, so it's perhaps not completely fair. Yaroshinsky creates a lot of chances when he's in the team too. Creates nearly 1 chance per game, whereas Krejci, with his 18 passing or whatever, just isn't doing it. Look at these stats! Look at this! That is insane. Krejci is an absolute machine. I think maybe I've just been playing him in the wrong place. Just looking at Zdenek Krejci, I've often deployed him as the playmaker, but maybe he needs to be more deep lying when he's in the team. Because there's obviously something here. This guy is an incredible talent, and I think we can definitely get something out of him. But we just need to find out what that is, basically. He's not winning a lot of headers, but Surgod is, and that's fine. Interceptions. Krejci makes a lot of interceptions, but that's probably because he's often been deployed a bit deeper as a ball-winning midfielder. Maybe that's where I've mistaken him. Putting him there. Maybe I should deploy him as a deep-line playmaker and switch the other role when we play like that instead. rather than wasting him trying to get him to tackle people, because I don't know what his tackling and defensive stats are like. So, like, tackling is 11, his marking is 13. He's not bad. I mean, this guy does everything, apart from long throws for some reason, and jumping. Don't ask him to jump or do a long throw, but other than that, he's great. It's hard to say when you're looking at some of this stuff. Key passes per 90 minutes. Yaroshinsky is really, really high. His pass completion, Krejci does get 91%. That is very, very high. Shots on target. Wow, Steve Thompson knows how to keep it down, doesn't he? Christensen does well there. Much better than Akinola. That's for sure. Tackles 1 ratio as well. Christensen, not too bad. Better than Akinola again. He's outperforming him in quite a few important metrics. Not better in the air, but not negligibly worse. Key passes. Akinola's played more minutes, though. Way more minutes, though, in fact. I want to compare those two based on per 90 minute stats. So, Christensen, roughly the same, a little bit worse than Akinola on the team conceded. Oh, so that's less goals conceded as well. This is what I mean about Victor Christensen. I feel like, also, we didn't feel like we actually looked at him when we were doing our squad report. It must have only, why is he like registered for the wrong team or something? Oh, well, there you go. Maybe it's because of his damaged heel. So I think this guy's got a long way to go, sure, but he's professional. He's got a lot of things that are very good. His consistency isn't great. I think, plus he's already an actual attacking midfielder. He's not an advanced playmaker. That's not his style. He's the exact position that we want him to play in already. He does need to work on this area, but he is at least improving. So he's still only 17 years old. He's got a long-term deal. We do have a release, not a release clause, like an optional extension too, which we can't obviously trigger yet. It's a lot of players to try and work with. And I think that I'm tempted to go with Christensen as the leading attacking midfielder next season and move Akinola back in. It depends on what we do in the summer, who we find and whatnot. The thing is, with Jankowski and Yaroshinsky, I think Yaroshinsky should be the starting player as a deep line playmaker in the team, as a playmaker in the team. He just outperforms other players. It is as simple as that. Whether I think he's good enough to possibly... I don't think I will be dropping Mariusz Jankowski to bring Yaroshinsky in, though. I just don't think that's a sensible idea. I think, overall, Yaroshinsky's earned himself a place definitely as a starter in the league team, but I do think that perhaps it's a step too far for him just yet, perhaps. But then where does that leave Zdeněk Krejci? Where do we put him? I don't want to put him as a box-to-box midfielder. I might have to look at switching around some of the roles for some of these games to see if we can incorporate Krejci, because he definitely has some perks to his game. He is all about passing. That is his shtick. But he gets around well. He's got a lot of good stats. I think we just need to find the right role for him. Like, what does the game say is the right role? The game wants him to be a Metzala. And we did kind of look at that. But isn't he the one that operates in a 3, or is that the Carriero? Drifted wide. I don't know. Maybe we'll look at deploying him in his natural role when he plays. So instead of maybe making him a box-to-box midfielder, make him a Metzala and let him do his job that instead. We'll have to see. Maybe something to work on in pre-season. Who knows? That's kind of what I'm looking at. Liviu Stan, he's done all right this year. None of these guys have got below a 7, which is perfect. It's what I want to see. So let's move on to the final part, the attackers. Oh, God, my throat is so dry. It's like the Mojave Desert in here. Right. So, strikers that have played. Bravo, Svenningsson, Rally, Kuja, and Yakim, kind of the ones that really matter. We don't care about Sorgård and Akinola. I wish there was a way you could hide players from this, but you can't. Unless the filters go a bit deeper than that. No, I don't think they do. Pain to ask, but there you go. So, Raleigh hasn't played that much. We're not really bothered about that. Although, seeing the tackles is kind of interesting. Bravo does win a lot of tackles, has to be said. Akinola really does not win a lot of tackles. Shots per 90 minutes. My God, Raleigh takes a lot of shots, as does Bravo. Yakim does not take that many shots. He's just very accurate with his shots, it would seem. Have they all at least got 50%? Bravo, 55. Yeah. So all of them at least have hit 50% on the old shots on target. Rally, fair enough, dead on, but it's still above it's still where I would consider to be a good position. Shots on target per 90 minutes is kind of more important, really. Bravo, Rally as well. That's good. Yakim, he doesn't take that many shots, does he? He's really very precise with his shooting. Points per game with him in the team. Kuja, nice and high on that one. Yakim, the lowest one is actually Mariano Bravo, interestingly. Pass completion, Bravo, 82, all across a decent level. Like that, none of them are too far from each other. No one's in like the 60s for pass completion or like the low 70s. Yakim's the lowest on that one. And I guess that's going to come from his what's his passing? He does have the lowest passing in the entire team. So I guess that kind of plays out there as well. Everyone else is above a certain level, frankly. So that kind of makes sense. Key passes per 90 minutes. Rally as well. Look at this. This lad plays. He's good at a key pass. He gets a decent number of shots on target. Good percentage of them. Decent pass completion. Headers. What the frickin' frick? Headers 1 ratio. How on earth is a player with 17 jumping reach, 12 heading, and 6'5" only winning 40% of his headers? That is baffling. Anyone got an explanation for that? Is it because potentially he's made a lot of substitute appearances and it's some of the headers he's having to challenge for are not great, but he does still win lots of headers per 90 minutes anyway. That's something we definitely need to keep an eye on, really, because it's weird having a target man that doesn't win headers, because that's essentially what we've got on our hands right now, which doesn't make any sense to me. So we might have to take a look at that. Any explanation you can think of as to why Rally, marking low, tackling low, corners, long shots, none of this stuff suggests to me that he would be poor in the air. Concentration, bravery, maybe? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Why is Rally not winning headers? Is it just a fluke? Is there a way we can see from previous stats, perhaps? Headers 1? No, we can't look at previous year, which is a bit of a shame on that one. But what can you do? That's kind of interesting, actually. I still think there's something we can get from that, but this definitely does need to improve. Like, we need this up in, like, the 60s or 70s, at least. I know he's a striker, but he shouldn't have the lowest, or one of the lowest, when he's that tall. It's as simple as that. Dribbles per game. Obviously, Svenningsson highest on that one. Kuja quite low, but Rally still within a nice level, which is what I like to see. Cross completion. Svenningsson's very low, but he does still got that many assists too. Rally is in a nice area. Kuja with 20, Yakim 20, Bravo 21. Rally's not too far off the pace at 17. Svenningsson a bit further off, which is a bit of a worry though. Chances created per 90 minutes. Bravo, yep, all in a relatively decent area. Again, Yakim falling a little bit, but not too far off of Medi Kuja, frankly. Average ratings overall. Svenningsson, of course, the highest. Yakim in there too. Rally does have the lowest, but again, I think substitute appearances really do drag that one down. Minutes per goal. It's a bit over actually. Yakim has the best. Kuja actually has a worse one than Rally, so that sort of says a lot about that. He's also got more assists, but he's played way less minutes. Assists per 90 minutes. Rally's nice and high on that one. So next year, it's going to be a toughie. I'm wondering if a Svenningsson and Rally frontline is something we could potentially try out. Because we'll have a lot of league games before we get to the Champions League. 7 or 8 potentially. And I do wonder if we could maybe get away with trying Rally as a striker up top with Svenningsson and maybe moving Bravo back to partner Mark Yakim in the league team and then sell Medi Kuja on and then look around for more youngsters. Because we've still got the likes of Lucas Pavek, as Pacinda, loads of youngsters to come back on loan. Ryan Rook, although he'll probably leave. There's options that are going to come back from Vlaslovsky too, frankly. He's done a great job on loan at Vela, and maybe there is a place for him in the league squad for us. I mean, he's clearly shown that he's got some quality in that team, and maybe he deserves a chance to prove himself. But again, it does depend on what we find in the summer as well, with more players potentially joining us as well. And, we'll have the loan squad as well. We're like Chelsea. We're the Danish Chelsea at this point, but without the Russian accents in your owners and whatnot. Then again, we don't know. Sven Bond, we haven't spoken about him for an episode or two. He could still pull up some nonsense in the summer, and we could end up with all sorts of problems. But I'm 4-0 up on recent things with him, so I'm hoping that it will kind of stay that way. So that's kind of that for now. That's nearly an hour we've done on this episode, so I think I'm probably going to call it a day here before my voice turns to dust, and I really do have other things to do, of course, like, for example, try and play through some of this transfer window, so that's going to be a slog and a half, but anyway, it's fine. If you have enjoyed this, of course, you want me to keep doing them, and you like the new little section at the start and some other nice stuff, then do drop a like on the video. That'd be awesome. And if you're new to the channel, and somehow you've got to 55 minutes into this video, then of course do be sure to subscribe. Sorry, I'm looking around the room trying to find. Here we go. Right. Okay. So my girlfriend's left a tape measure on the desk that she normally takes to work with her. So yes, she's not a builder. Don't worry. So yeah, the word of the day is tape measure. Drop that in the comments and let's mess with people's minds. So yeah, I will see you guys, basically tomorrow for the brand new episode. So I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.